Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. Today we are talking all about the myth or truth behind why twin flames meet up later in life. Is it true? Is it not true? Why does it happen? Watch this video. Alright guys, welcome back. Thank you so much for being here today. My name is Serena.
And I'm James.
And we are Life After Union, two twin flames in union. If you guys have been following our channel, you'll know that James trimmed his beard.
Finally.
It looks very much different on camera.
It only took me about, a month to get around to trimming it.
And you look very nice.
Thank you.
Took 10 years off your look, I think.
I know, I feel like a whole new man.
And so today we have quite an exciting topic. Forgive us if you hear a bunch of rustling or things moving in the background. There is a giant windstorm happening outside, so just bear with us on if there's any extraneous sounds. You guys normally do bear with us, but thank you for your patience. And today we are talking about why do twin flames meet up later in life, and is this even true? So I have some theories on this, so keep watching if you want to know more. But before we dive into that, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for subscribing to our channel. Thank you for liking and engaging with our content. It truly does mean the world to us. So let us know, where are you from? What's going on in your neck of the woods? What's going on in your twin flame journey? Let us know. And let's dive into the topic today. So, do twin flames meet up later in life? I would say generally yes. But I also have a theory on why this may start to change. And I think why this may start to change, you guys, is because the twin flame journey is essentially an ascension journey, right? It's like a spiritual awakening journey. It's a healing journey. So as the earth continues to evolve and ascend, we are also going to continue to evolve and ascend at the same rate. So that means twin flames can come together younger and younger the quicker and the more we ascend, because technically there's less karma, there's less spiritual work to do. Now this isn't going to be true for everybody, so don't think like, oh no, if I'm older than 25, 30 years old, I've lost my twin flame window. That is not true at all. And we're going to talk about that in this video, why it is a thing that twins will generally meet up a little bit later in life. But before we go into that, we want you to conceptualize that, we're on an ever evolving journey right now. And that this blink, like our lifetimes are literally a blink of an eye in relation to what the earth has been through and the generations of humans. And so to pigeonhole twin flames and the twin flame journey into you must only be this age to this age just makes no logical sense.
Silly.
Yeah, it is really just silly to say like it has to be this, knowing that we are going to continue to evolve, hopefully for eons from now. We're going to continue to evolve. That means that twin flames are going to come together at a much younger age because they have less work to work through. They can just come together and instantly start creating, right? And so what's your opinion as to moving into why it is very common if you're a twin flame? You might have already been married, you might have already had kids with another person, you might have been with somebody when meeting your twin flame, and that might happen later on in life. Now for us, we're some of the younger ones, considering the ages that we work with generally, we're some of the, I would say, younger ones, considering the ages that we coach and that we mentor.
Yeah.
But for us, I feel like we really fast-tracked our evolution and our spiritual journeys. But we also went through some pretty significant relationships that taught us certain lessons. So what I want to ask you is, why do you think it's a thing that twin flames will generally meet up later in life?
Personally, I feel that a lot of the time it's that, especially in the day and age we are in now, there's a lot of life lessons and just general lessons as well in the grand scheme of things that we need to learn before we can come into that union, because you don't just come into that union without having learned to deal with, whether it be past life stuff, whether it be with generational stuff, whether it be with your own personal things. There's a lot of growth that needs to happen all these times in order to get to a point where you and your twin might actually sync up in that way to actually go into union. Not to say that you can't also work through a lot of those things while being in union with your twin flame. Like there's a lot of ways of looking at it. I feel that just with the way things are, especially now with people being able to travel more and being more exposed to what's actually out there, that's what's going to make it almost potentially get to an earlier point of your life where you might get into union. You might still go into separation of that, then come back as well. But because of that fact that we're able to travel is helping us get into union earlier. But I definitely feel a big part is why we get into these things, generally speaking, later, is because of the fact that we haven't learned the lessons we need to learn and become the person we need to become in order to be in that space, in order to take on that relationship. Because it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's not like, a high school fling where you have a bit of fun and woohoo, it's all good and well. There's a lot more to it than that. I mean, this is your soul's other half, essentially. It's your one true person, if you could say it that way. Not that your soulmates that aren't your true person either, but like this is your opposite.
Yeah.
So I feel that as we move forward and as these lessons, I don't want to say become less, but they become, you learn to learn them a lot earlier. It doesn't sound right, but you learn to learn them at a younger stage because of the fact that all these old wounds and traumas and that are now being worked out to a point where they're not carrying through to your life until you get into your late 30s or your early 40s or your 50s, anything like that. You're actually now dealing with a lot of these things because people are becoming more woke, for lack of better terms, at a much younger age because of the information we got out there, the fact that there's so much access to things through the internet and through things like YouTube, and whether it be TikTok or Tinder, or sorry, not Tinder, Instagram. Like there's a lot more out there to help us come into that place where we're actually able to learn these lessons and leave past things behind us so we can actually get to a point of wanting to be in union.
Yeah, but comment below if you met your twin flame on Tinder.
Yeah.
Just because you said it, now I'm like, I wonder.
It's possible.
How many of you guys met your twin flame on Tinder? Let us know below. But yeah, I completely agree with you. I also think, like, not to say that our generation is the only generation to be like the chain breakers, right? Or the cycle breakers. That's not to say that at all, but that is to say that a lot of our generation is moving on, like some big karmic stuff.
Yeah.
And so that's then to say whatever, souls decided to come into the twin flame journey after this, right? Like, let's say our daughter would be born to a bit less karma because we're ending those cycles, right? We're not perpetuating that, which is why it would make sense that twin flames could potentially come into union quicker, because there's not as much generational cycles and generational traumas. Now, that's not to say there isn't, as you said, past life stuff or certain lessons that you're going to have to go through. You also just think, like, on a really practical level, like, your brain doesn't stop maturing, right, until you're like 25 years old. So to meet your twin flame, like, let's play that out. Let's say you and I met when we were maybe in like high school age. Do you think we would have like been interested in each other, like, at all?
I don't know what you like in high school.
I
think I would have physically been attracted to you for sure. I think
we would have had way too many wounds and issues to make it work.
I think it would have required a lot more work. I think we could have made it work, but I think there would have been a lot more that we would have had to deal with together in that situation. It would have had to have much stronger. I don't want to say this that we don't have a strong character, but our character would have to be a lot stronger at that point in order for us to go through it without it becoming something that could be potentially seen as toxic or traumatic or anything like that.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't think I would have been to a point that, like, if the wounds that we are dealing with now were going to be wounds that were brought up at that age, there's absolutely no way I could have like dealt with that on a mature level at that age, just because I know what I was working through at that age, and I wasn't anywhere near being ready to work through it. Like, I was still in very much victim mentality. I was very much in my wounded feminine, and I don't think I would have been able to actually progress together. But that's also a very common story. Like, a lot of people will comment on here and say, like, oh, I met my twin flame first when we were kids, and then we had 10, 15 years apart, where we didn't talk to each other at all, and then we come back together and I realized he was my twin. Like, they'll meet when they were very young, but then not realize that they were their twin until later when they've actually done the work. So I do think that that is a possibility, but I think it's more likely that twin flames, at least in this generation or in this era of human life, are going to come together a bit later, just because of where we're at evolutionarily, and as you said, the lessons that need to take place in order to make that happen.
Yeah
I
definitely agree with you on that. It's one of the things. Some people will meet your twin earlier and things will work out. Some people will be later. It just depends on the life path that you have chosen for yourself, and there's no one way or other that's better or worse than like this person or that person's. It simply comes down to the journey that you are on, and if that means you met your twin at a younger age, then that's your journey. If it means you got to go through a whole bunch of other things and then meet your twin at a later stage in life, then that is your journey. The big thing is to not be almost jealous of other people because they have found it in a younger age, and rather be like, I'm appreciative of them that they are able to have found that for themselves at this point in their life, and I look forward to finding that for myself. Or I found this for myself and it's fantastic, and I wish that you find this for yourself when your time is right. Not trying to, be jealous of someone or try hold over someone's head, and just understand that we're all on different journeys, and certain things will come to each other at certain times within our lives. I mean, even with us, I mean, we're in our union, and there's certain things that I've learned that you're yet to learn, and there's certain things that you've learned that I'm yet to learn, and that's just the way that the cycle unfolds, and you just got to make the most of where you are in your life and the journey that you're on, and try and enjoy it to the best of your possibilities,
Your abilities.
your abilities.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think that's also to say a lot of people that question, like, okay, I've met my twin flame, I'm, maybe 47, 50 years old, now what, right? And I think a lot of times there's a idea of like, I've failed because I didn't have kids with my twin flame, or I failed because I left my marriage for my twin flame, right? And I think this is part of, for twin flames, okay, if you are watching this and you are a twin flame that has met your twin flame later in life, so let's say 35 plus, okay, later in life. That's not even very late in life, because the quote, like, I think Carl Jung said this, like, everything up to 40 is just practice or just research, and then from 40 on your life actually begins. I fully believe that that's true. The older and older I get, the more and more I believe that. But let's say 35 to 40 plus, you've met your twin flame, okay? And that's part of the matrix, and I would say the societal programming that you are breaking for the twin flame collective, right? Maybe you have shame around my marriage didn't last. Maybe you have shame around I had kids with somebody else. Maybe you have shame around I'm still married but I met my twin flame, right? So you feel a little bit like you effed up, right? Or you screwed up. But in reality, you're meant to break those societal molds that said, okay, maybe we're married for 15 years and that was a great marriage, right? It served its purpose. Or maybe you were married for 2 years and it was the most terrible marriage. It was like the loveless marriage, or maybe it was your karmic relationship. And we have to get outside of this black and white ways of thinking of things that, like, if it didn't work out, if it didn't reach the long haul, then I failed, right? Or then I did something wrong. Or even the shame around being in separation with your twin, right? Like, there's a lot of shame around, my separation has been 5-10 years, right? And there's a lot of shame around that, and feelings of I failed, or maybe it's not meant for me in this lifetime. But again, these are all ideas that we have to learn to overcome, and we have to learn to bring peace to, and break those ideas down to, like, okay, but who says that that's wrong, right?
Yeah.
I get to choose my journey. I get to choose how I interpret my journey and how I work through my journey. And my journey is perfect in and of itself. Like, it doesn't have to look any one specific way. It probably, if it's a true twin flame journey, it's going to follow an evolution, right? Like, it's going to have a certain trajectory to it. But ultimately, becoming a twin flame is about becoming a conscious creator. So you are only, like, every year you have a birthday, you get a level up, right? It's like new cheat codes unlocked. Okay. And so when I get older, I get kind of excited because I'm like, okay, what am I going to unlock this year? Like, what am I going to have access to? So when we talk about twin flames meeting later in life, it's because, okay, now they've unlocked so many codes, so many activations, so many perspective shifts. They've healed so much about themselves that now they finally have access to the power within them to be able to create their lives consciously. So I think going away from the fact that, like, it needs to be a negative thing, and moving into the fact that, like, look at all that you have access to now make your dreams a reality.
I agree fully with you.
That's my pep talk.
That's your pep talk is done.
Did you feel inspired by my pep talk? It's the true way that you should be looking at it, because regardless of when you meet your twin flame, it's obviously the divine timing, right? Like, you wouldn't have met them if it wasn't aligned, right? You wouldn't be where you were meant to be if it wasn't aligned. And just for the pure fact that it happened meant that it was supposed to happen. And if you aren't in union yet, I know you have something to say. If you aren't in union yet, don't feel like, well, you can feel like you failed. I mean, it's your right to feel however you want to feel about it, but you can change your perspective and be like, okay, maybe up until this point, I felt shame or I felt disempowered by my twin flame journey, but I'm going to choose today to change that outlook and to take control of my journey and take action towards that. And with that being said, hold to your thought. With that being said, if you are ready to fully step into your twin flame journey and your power, and you want to do that with a group of aligned twin flames who are actually on your same path, who are working through the same thing, we have just put together our most amazing offer. This is for our group twin flame coaching experience, the Twin Flame Path to Awakening. This is a now 6-month long experience designed to literally catalyze your trajectory on the twin flame journey. This is meant to literally put you in the rocket ship to your awakening path and to put you in the driver's seat of that rocket ship. So if you are interested in joining our new experience, 6 months long, group container, one-on-one sessions, literally the best thing I could possibly offer you. And you can thank all of our beta testers in the previous round for this. So they have given you literally every tool that you will need to feel empowered in your journey and move forward in the direction of your dreams. And you can apply down below if you want to work with us. We are beginning the beginning of April. So we are super excited to offer this to you. Get on the application list. We will be reaching out to you in around February to begin taking our applications. Take it away.
If you want to hear what I have to say, come join our group. No, I was just going to say, like, I mean, you kind of touched on it as well, is that even if you meet your twin and you don't come into union, just the fact that you might have met that person, regardless whether you end up in union or you don't end up in union, the fact that you've met that person, hold on to that, because that means that your life path has chosen to show you this person, regardless whether you end up together.
You're already on the journey, essentially.
Whether you actually get to union or not, that's not necessarily, that shouldn't be the end goal kind of objective. The end goal objective should be that, you know, you've met this person who is your twin flame, whether they're in union with them or not, someone who helps you expand your life and helps you actually see things for much deeper reasoning. Obviously, for a lot of us, yes, of course we want to be in union, but for some people that's not always going to be possible. It's not always going to be, you know, the option that's available to them. But if you can meet that person, you then hold on to that fact, because that means that there's a whole side that you can still learn about. Whether that person just becomes a really good friend of yours and that's as far as it goes, doesn't matter. It's the fact that you have that connection and someone that, you know, can understand you on a level that nobody else can, regardless whether you come into full union or not.
Yeah, we've always said that about each other. Like, I remember getting to a point in my journey when we were in separation where I was at a point where I was like, I'm just so grateful you exist in the world. Like, regardless of whether I could ever call you mine, it was like just the fact that I knew you were out in the world doing good, living life, like that was enough for me to make me feel like so hopeful about the world. And I think that would still be true, even if for some reason down the line, like, we decided to go our separate ways. I think that would still be true, is I would just be so grateful that you exist in the world. And actually, funny enough, I have so many clients that say this, and they're shocked to hear themselves say this, but this is what happens when you make the perspective shift, right? To like, everything's working out for me and I trust my timing, is that my clients will say like, I'm actually so grateful I'm not in union right now. I'm so grateful that I'm actually in no contact right now, because it's given me the time and the space to look at the things and process and create a relationship with myself that I'm truly honoring and truly loving and truly feeling fulfilled by. So like, it always like puts the biggest smile on my face when I see people and the shock and the realization that comes to their mind when they're like, oh my God, I'm actually so grateful that it didn't work out the way I thought it was supposed to, right? Because it gave me an opportunity for something else. So just keep looking for your opportunities of what that something else is for you in this meantime, in this, you know, transition area that you're in. And if you have any questions, of course, put them down below. We love to hear what's going on for you. Check in, let us know what you thought about this video. Are you a twin flame that has met later in life? How old are you? When did you meet your twin flame? How long have you been on your journey? Give us all the details down below. Of course, if you have questions, ask those too. And, you know, support this channel. Like it, give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, hit the little notification bell so you're notified every time we come out with a new video. And yeah, get your applications in for our next launch of Twin Flame Path to Awakening. We'll see you there. Thank you so much for being here today. Bye.